Cricket presents The Campfire, and today we are taking a deep dive into District 7-6A. The schools in this 9-team district include Highland Park, Jesuit, Irving, MacArthur, Nimitz, Richardson, Berkner, Lake Highlands, and Pierce. Let's analyze these teams in our film session. You've got to look at Highland Park when analyzing 7-6A. The Scots only returned 2 starters on both sides of the ball, but to be honest, what's new? It's almost a tradition at Highland Park to have large amounts of turnover each year, and they still keep winning. Defense may lead the way early for Randy Allen's bunch, as that unit is led by Henry Richer and Jack Morse. The Scots may be the favorites again, but there are plenty of contenders in this district. How about Jesuit? They too will be more dangerous on defense when the season starts, with first-teamers Cade Gill and Grayson Wambacher ready to cause chaos again. Lake Highlands will flex their muscle on the offensive side of the ball for new head coach Corey Campbell. The Wildcats return the district's most experienced quarterback Trip Holly and running back Deontay Dean. Lake Highlands' biggest rival, Richardson Berkner, should be a problem in this district as well. The Rams have a lot of offensive talent returning, including 1,000-yard rusher Jamari Williams, along with big-time receivers Damian Crow and Kobe Foreman. If an Irving ISD team is to make the postseason, it might be the MacArthur Cardinals. Rehoboth Adunyami leads a defense with 9 starters returning. The Cardinals had some running backs transfer out, so they'll need time to gel on offense. At Pierce, they are hoping a year of experience under their belt will help players like running back Ryan Williams and quarterback Presley Harper turn 2023 into a breakout year. Athlete Miles Buckley will be looked upon to make noise at Richardson High, while Nimitz and Irving will struggle for wins in this competitive district. Switch to Cricket and get a free Moto G 5G with your new plan. Smile, you're on Cricket. Players on the Rise is brought to you by Parker University. Do you or your student want a career training the world's best athletes? Check out our bachelor's degree in strength and human performance today. For an even deeper look at 7-6A, here's producer Ward Fasold and insider Matt Diggs with the district breakdown.
District breakdown time. I ain't doing these district breakdowns without my guy Matt Diggs, and there he is, high school insider, and he's going to give us some insight on 7-6A. This district is usually run by Highland Park. I say usually, they've only been in it the 1 year, but last year they ran it. But boy, the internet was abuzz, at least especially over at Lake Highlands, at some of your predictions in the top 25. I'll let you take care of that. But spoiler, I'm kind of in agreement with my man Diggsy here, but I'm going to let him talk about some of these teams in this district and who he thinks can pull it out.
Yeah, District 7-6A is an interesting district because, I mean, we're talking about a lot of teams that have graduated heavy, a lot of question marks, but how can you pick against Highland Park? I mean, you talk about Rick Flair theory. To be the man, you got to beat the man, and Randy Allen has been the man for decades now. I think Highland Park is going to still be a solid team. You always look at Highland Park and you're wondering who's going to be at quarterback. And they're having a battle right now for quarterback. According to the Park City's advocate, Warren Peck is expected to step into the quarterback role. He won the job at Spring. But Parker Thompson, who's a transfer from Carroll, you might have even remembered that name because he backed up some games for Graham Knowles last year, that he's coming over as well. And he's a dual threat guy. So you might see kind of that two-headed quarterback like we see with Lancaster and Lovejoy.
Let me get your top 1 through 9 as we let me hear you say it.
I got Highland Park number 1, Richardson Berkner number 2, Lake Highlands number 3, Dallas Jesuit number 4, Irving MacArthur number 5, Richardson Pierce number 6, Richardson High, those Mighty Eagles at number 7, Irving Nimitz number 8, and Irving High to round out this 9-team district at number 9. Perfect. All right, next week we're going to talk 8-6A as we start winding down 6A, which we're winding down these 6A teams. That means the season's right around the corner, which is very exciting for me. So we will talk Arlington schools next week. Can Arlington Martin overcome the loss of their coach? So many coaches, so many things to talk about. I can't wait to break down Arlington ISD next week, so stay tuned.
All righty.
We'll post the entire breakdown segment this Wednesday on our social media pages. Now let's take a look at some game changers and our players on the rise presented by Parker University. The most experienced and possibly most dangerous running back in 7-6A is Deontay Dean of Lake Highlands. Dean ran for over 1,300 yards and 20 touchdowns during a junior season that saw him become first-team All-District. Shifty, powerful, fast. All words to describe this Wildcat back, and with a new head coach, Lake Highlands will depend on Deontay to tote the rock a lot this fall. He may be a young pup in the game, but Damian Crow is making big noise at Berkner. Crow was the district's offensive newcomer of the year as just a freshman last year. He caught 30 passes for 719 yards and 6 scores as a young wide receiver. Damian's speed makes him lethal in the return game as well. Crow took a punt and kickoff back for scores. The sky's the limit for this Berkner athlete. The toughest tight end in 7-6A is J.J. Pierce's Jewellen Thomas Roberts. He poses a big target in the Mustang offense, as Thomas Roberts stands 6'4", 235 pounds. Jewellen caught 19 passes for 238 yards and a touchdown, but can also be counted on to open holes for the ground attack. Thomas Roberts has offers from San Diego State, Washington State, and Texas State, among others. Highland Park's Jack Morse made himself known as a defensive playmaker as a sophomore last year. Morse was the district's defensive newcomer of the year as a Scots linebacker a season ago. Jack finished the season with 94 tackles, 2 picks, and 9 tackles for loss. Offenses tried everything to stay away from him, and it just could not be done. With 2 more years left in his high school career, expect more great things from Morse. Players on the Rise is brought to you by Parker University. Check out our bachelor's degree in strength and human performance today. Switch to Cricket and get 4 lines for $25 each per month, plus unlimited nationwide 5G. Smile, you're on Cricket. Our Ward Fasol cut up to a head coach in this district to discuss his team and the rest of 7-6A in our Media Day segment.
All right, it's Media Day. We're joined by Lake Highlands head coach Corey Campbell, and we're going to talk some 7-6A. Before we talk 7-6A, let's just talk about how you are with your feet in the water there over at Lake Highlands. You haven't been there too long. This is obviously your first year, but you do feel like you got to see a little bit during spring, right?
Yeah, spring was great for us. Unfortunately, we did lose quite a few players to graduation, and with spring ball, just the opportunity to evaluate. And with those 18 practices, our staff did a great job, and we feel like we have a better foothold of what our football team looks like going forward next fall.
Were you able to see in the short time that you were there in the spring who maybe your leaders are, who you might be able to trust to get your message across to the rest of the kids?
Sure. Some of our returning starters, I'll start on the defensive side of the ball. Christian Tate, defensive end, a defensive lineman, 2-year starters coming back for us. Really leaning on him. He's had a great summer. Shep Jenkins, Mike Backer in the middle, and then Myron McGee, defensive back as well. And then offensively, we return our quarterback, Trip Holly, and our running back, Deontay Dean. We're really going to lean on those 2 guys. And then our center, James Ward, is also returning, along with Leland Germany and Trip Marshall.
Absolutely. Hey, I appreciate you joining us, man. I can't wait to see how this thing pans out. Hey, maybe you won't play South Grand Prairie in the first round this year like you seem to play every single year, but hey, we'll see how it plays out, and I appreciate you joining us.
Thanks for having me.
You can catch the entire interview Friday on our social media channels. That's going to do it for this week's Campfire. Next week, we will discuss District 8-6A. Until then, have a great week, everybody.